banking, fintech, restaurant technology sectors. She was, as a chartered banker and certified safety professional, Oluwatayo's woven experiences across business development, product management, and data analytics is evident in solutions implemented at organizations such as InterSwitch, Access Bank, Fidelity Bank, and Vendeas. As the founder and principal consultant at Techlytics, she has implemented solutions across sectors. Startup fintechs such as Wire, Fitter in Uruguay, marketing companies such as Intense Agency, where she led the development of the agency's first digital and artificial intelligence flagship product, Palette, and natural gas sectors such as Gasco Marine. Now meet the team. We have Jedida Okonko. My name is Abiodun Olani. I'm also a product manager at Techlytics like Jedida. We have Adenike Adeyeye, a data analyst. We have Oreolua, a social media manager, and Timothy, our graphics designer. Today, we're going to be having this discussion on emerging technology with Toyin Olaseyinde. Toyin is a specialized generalist in no-code tech roles. He has a strong background in product management with extensive experience in the tech industry. He has expertly managed numerous products across different sectors, including digital channels of some banks in Africa. During his time at InterSwitch, Toyin was the co-founder at Toyin is the co-founder at Woodcore, a financial infrastructure company for banks, fintechs, and other non-financial institutions. He has his passion for mentoring and helping people transition into no-code roles in tech also spurred him to co-found Treford, an edtech startup on a mission to help professionals and businesses upskill in world-class no-code tech skills. Treford has helped over 16,000 individuals and businesses transition or upskill successfully into no-code roles in tech across 8 countries within and outside Africa. In addition to his academic background in psychology from the Obafemi Awolowo University. I wanted to say something about OAU because they're like up there and they brag so much about the school, but let me leave that for later. So in addition to his academic background in psychology from OAU Ile-Ife, Toyin is a certified Scrum Master and holds a Lean Six Sigma belt, showcasing his commitment to continuous learning and professional development. So join me this evening as we discuss, as Toyin discusses emerging technologies shaping product innovation. Thank you. Over to you, Toyin.
Hi, Abiodun. Thank you very
Hi.
much for that. I don't think
Yeah.
I would have done justice to even talking about myself like that. So I think I'll just keep my first slide.
All right.
I'll just keep my first slide. Okay, hi everyone. Good evening. I hope for people in Nigeria, good evening. If you're not in Nigeria, good afternoon or good morning, wherever you are. I'm hoping that we would have a fruitful session. I'm just going to, try to share my screen first and see how we can get into the show for the day. Okay. Let me just get here. Okay, let me know if you can see my screen now.
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect. So I'll just change this to presentation mode. Where's that thing?
Top right
Top right.
slideshow. Just to your farther right.
My right or my left?
Your right, your farther right.
My father right. Okay,
Slideshow.
sorry.
Keep
Yes, slide.
going.
I'm not used to using Google
Going,
Slides.
right?
So okay, yeah. So hi everyone. Good evening. This topic is quite an interesting topic because I think that for all of us working in the tech space, we need to always keep getting abreast of what is going on in our industry. Sometimes it could be overwhelming because you are trying to understand exactly what is happening in each sector. How are people handling certain developments or improvements in certain sectors? How do you stay abreast of whatever technology that is coming in? Which ones do you need to understand, or which ones do you need to stay abreast of, or which ones do you need to pay attention to. And then sometimes you even find yourself in interviews where one of the questions they might ask you in the interview is, where do you see the social space in so number of years? I mean, these are questions that stem out of your understanding of, technologies and how it is, affecting human life and how it keeps evolving over time. So, I mean, the topic today is emerging technologies that are shaping product innovation. Um, Abiodun has already done a really like great work already doing like a little bit of introduction about myself. I am Tony Olasendi. I'm co-founder of Trepod. We are an edtech startup that focuses on upskilling people in local tech skills. And by the way, the founder of TechLitit is also my very good friend as well. And I am also building a we like call it like an infrastructure company that assists banks with some of the things that they do today. I'm pretty much very much interested in helping people sort of like build their career and see how they can grow in their career because of how I was able to also navigate my own career when I started. So there is this empathy I have for people that are still trying to navigate their way around tech, and that was what sort of like bettered Trefford in the first place. And that is how my approach to life is. How can you bring people together? How can you help people grow? How can you become valuable to people? Because I feel like as human beings, the value that you're able to give to each other, makes gives you like some sort of esteem, sort of like that with other people, right? So I'm very passionate about people. I feel like people are the lifeblood of whatever it is that you're doing, be it your family, be it your friends, be it whatever it is that you're doing, right? I also love football during the weekends. I don't play it anyway, by the way. The last time I played was probably like 15 years ago, or thereabout, or 10, maybe 10 years ago, maybe not 15. Yeah, so I love watching football. That's the only thing that I do for fun these days, and maybe watching movies as well. So I'm looking forward to an engaging session. Please feel free to maybe raise up your hand. I'm sure Abiodun is the one facilitate, or will I say host it now? Abiodun is the programs person on the call, so I'm sure she'll be able to help us navigate through when anyone has any questions. I'm hoping that we'll have a very engaging session as well. So let's dive right into it. Introduction: Emerging technologies. What are emerging technologies? The name pretty much covers it all. It's basically, as the name implies, emerging. It's something that has started, right? Or it is just starting, and people are just gradually getting to see it. So it is actually just very, very, important to understand that emerging technology is not just a phrase that people use. Oh, emerging technologies is this, payment is emerging technologies, or this is emerging technologies. No, a couple of things characterize emerging technologies, but as the name implies, it's just something that is nascent, which means it is new. That's a lot of potential to significantly impact the lives of people, and also the lives of people, and also technology, and also practices as well, right? It's starting out. It's something that is new. It has potentials to grow, right? And that's pretty much what emerging technologies is from a very, very layman perspective. If you hear anything that if you hear anything that sounds like, or you hear anyone say emerging technologies, what should come to your head is it's either new or it is evolving, right? And it has the prospect or capacity to, blow beyond whatever it is that you know about it today. That is what it pretty much means. And these technologies, they hold very immense promise to revolutionize various aspects of life, addressing specific challenges and driving transformative changes across industries. Now, you think about, I don't want to jump too much to the next side, because it sort of like breaks down into the different characteristics of emerging technologies. You find out that, when you're doing certain things, you hear that, or when you go to a certain place, or maybe move to a certain country, you see that, or certain things work in certain ways, but when you're in another country, it looks like that thing does not even exist at all, right? So unfortunately, it is what it is, right? But yeah, so a lot of times you find out that what you call emerging technology in one country might not be emerging technology in another country, but there's always something like a common denominator out of it. Those things will sort of keep evolving. I'll give an example. For instance, today, the concept of blockchain is used in Africa, is used in US, is used in like different developed countries that are not even third world countries today. However, that same concept, right, applies or is applicable in different ways today in both different regions, right? Aside from the application, the understanding as well is also different. The application is different. By application now, I don't mean like mobile application or web application. I mean the usage of it is different. The understanding of it is different. The adoption is also different. What that also means is that the use case of it will be different. The way it is applied in terms of solving problems now is going to be totally different, right? And then it sort of affects a lot of other things. So yes, blockchain is an emerging technology as well, right? But it sort of varies across the different countries or different places that you would find yourself in, right? So you can be in another country now and say, oh, these are the things that we'll call emerging technologies in this country. You get to another place, it's also the same thing. However, some things might vary. Things like the applicability, the usability, the understanding, and the adoption. Those are some of the things that might vary across different places you might go to, even though they are emerging technologies, but used in different ways in these places. Now, what are the characteristics of emerging technologies? A couple of things I listed out here. First of all, they are characterized by being in a nascent stage, which means that they are new and then they have potential to really grow rapidly, right? Um, if you notice, I think in 2020 or 2019, that was when there was a serious boom in blockchain, or will I say cryptocurrency? Let me not say blockchain. I think I would prefer to use the word cryptocurrency because that was what a lot of people were using blockchain for at the time, right? So, and I remember that at that time in 2020, that was when myself, I think 2020 was when me myself, I even like started understanding gradually what cryptocurrency meant, having like a wallet, being able to use those currencies that you have in these different wallets to do different things that you want to do, right? So I think I had USDT at the time. I had a couple of different coins at the time. I think I had I can't remember them now, but I was using bundle at the time as well. So there was a rapid growth at the time, or let's say rapid adoption of this whole thing. Like everybody wanted to just take advantage of it. And maybe I think it's also because people felt like it was an opportunity to make money too. So it's more like invest in this thing so that anything can happen, you can grow, that kind of thing. But it had always been. In fact, at that 2019, I remember sometime in 2017 or 2016, there was a particular cryptocurrency that was, trying to do their, I think was, I forgot, is it their I something? I forgotten what they call that thing, their public offering or something like that. Is where people um invest in that particular coins and something like that. I've forgotten what they call it in the cryptocurrency world now. But their initial offering or something like that. I can't remember what they call that thing. Someone hand is up. Maybe that person has that word for me. I hope that person has that word. IPO, yes, thank you.
IPO.
The IPO,
It's
yes.
IPO for coin.
Yes, for coins, yes,
Initial coin
exactly.
offering.
Yes. So uh, at that point there were some coins that I even invested in. I remember vividly 2016, yes. The coin that my friend told me about. I can't even remember my login to that particular platform again. There's a particular time, so as far back as 2008, there's a particular platform too that I was mining on, in fact. But I could not, like, when I fast forward back to 2016, when the whole, like, gradually people started talking about these things, I was like, can I go and look for my access to that? This time I started looking for my through my Yahoo mail for the access to it. Like, let me even see what is inside, what has become of this thing. Then the one that I invested in, I think 2017 too, that one I don't even know what happened to it. I think the whole coin, the whole thing passed or something like that. But yeah, focusing back on the points, right? It's nascent, so it's new but has potential to really grow. Then there's also, crazy opportunities to innovate around something that you call emerging technologies. And one thing for one thing for a certain is this: if something is called emerging technology, it is not going to be checking some of the boxes in this place that I've listed out. It's going to be checking all of the boxes here and more, right? So it's not because it is new, means that it is emerging technology. No, it has to actually check a lot of the boxes here, at least 90% of the things that are listed here, and some other things as well. So it has the inherent capacity to for you to innovate a lot around it. You can do a lot of things around it. I remember that through blockchain, people started thinking about remittance products. Through blockchain, people started thinking about cross-border remittance products. Through blockchain, people started thinking of, and that was where NFT also came out from, verification and authentication of certain things, certain artifacts or certain arts, those kind of things will come out as well. I'm sure there will be a lot of other use cases that I probably have not even seen today. Same thing with AI as well. A lot of people use ChatGPT today for certain things. 15 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe some people might not have seen that possibility happening where you could easily just go online to get certain ideas about certain things and just you're not using Google Search this time around. You're literally working with like a class partner to help you, fine tune certain things that you want to do, and then you can get what you need and push out whatever it is that you want to do. It also helps to introduce new solutions. I've mentioned a couple of them. There's also the possibility of ambiguity, which means that you don't particularly know how much magnitude it has. Like you don't know the magnitude of it, you don't know how big it can get, you don't know how small it can be, but it's just like this thing has potential, but we don't just know what the potential looks like, right? People might think that this is how big it can be, but a lot of times people particularly don't know how much. I mean, a lot of people, maybe not the professionals in that space, even the professionals in that space might not know how big it could get, right? They might have a vision, but at some point that vision does not mean that's the end of it. Neither does it mean that is the best or the worst of it, if that makes sense, right? There's also the possibility of rapid growth, right? And then there's also the desirable adoption potential, where it has the potential of people rapidly adopting it. It also has this ability of people noticing it, of it becoming very trendy, if that is something to describe it. If you look at the tech ecosystem between 2020 to 2024, or even from 20, I would use something a little bit much more relatable, starting from maybe something like 2016 down to 2024 that we are in. You will notice that certain things were trendy in the tech ecosystem. Most prominently recently, you can start from 2019 down till date, and you will notice that some things were trendy, right? For instance, there was blockchain, there was blockchain, and now there's AI, right? I think there was one more in between that actually. I can't really remember. We didn't just speak that loud. It wasn't just as loud, but there was blockchain at some point. It went for like 2, 3 years. Not like there's still no blockchain, by the way. Just trying to say that these things keep a lot of things just keep coming in. So one of the things about emerging technology is that it's trendy, right? People want to talk about it. People want to learn about it. People want to not be forgotten when it comes to it. So people want to understand it, and it's just one of the characteristics of it. Mind you, the people that want to know about it, obviously, they pass one criteria, which is they are tech savvy to some extent. You cannot go and talk to someone that does not have a mobile device, or that does not even have a smartphone, about what blockchain is. Obviously, that person just be looking at you like, what are you talking about? So those are the characteristics of emerging technologies. And so we'll just be talking about some of the examples of technologies that have come into that light of being called emerging technology, and how it has impacted certain innovation and certain concepts around product management, or let's say certain product developments that have come out in the last few years. And as a result of emerging technologies, you would agree with me that as a product person, or someone that is looking into the industry, or someone that has been involved in tech ecosystem for a while, you will just notice that some things that have come through the years, there's a role that this technology that we call emerging technology, there's a role that it plays in sort of like rubbing off on the things that have come out over the past few years. One of these examples is Internet of Things. I remember when I was in university, there were a couple of people that were in maybe I think electrical and something department now, electrical engineering department, and I think a mechanical engineering department as well. Some of them were actually like building things that were involving like Internet of Things, where they could build devices that you know from where you are, you could like control maybe your fan in your room, for instance, or you could turn on your lights, those different things like that. And gradually, it has evolved to be something much more bigger right now. So, on Internet of Things, IoT, it is not a new concept, but its potential, especially markets like Africa, remain largely untapped. It involves different devices, sensors, different devices and sensors communicating with each other across networks, exchanging data, right? I'll give an example. So as far back as 1989, there was an experiment that was carried out by this university. I think there's a wrong, this spelling is wrong. I'm going to correct the spelling. The spelling of that university is, I think, Carnegie Mellon University. Yes, that's the spelling of the university. I'm going to correct it before the session is over. It says Carnegie Mellon University. And it was as far back as 1989, where they actually made some sort of like experiment with a what they call it now. It's a Coca-Cola what's this vending machine where you can go in to take drinks. And what they typically did was they put in a sensor in that machine, and there are some programmers within the school that were just able to monitor and check if there were bottles of drinks in that vending machine before they would go there to pick one. So with the sensor in that machine, they could easily tell that, oh, okay, there's actually like a drink there, or there are drinks they're coming to go and take, right? So this is as far back as 1989. And imagine that till now, we have still not like experienced the full potential of IoT. But in some other countries, the story is typically different. But there are still a lot of things, there's still a lot of things that can be done. There's still a lot of possibilities that can be explored with IoT. For instance, today, your Apple Watch or your smartwatch helps you track your heart rate, the number of steps you are taking, your blood pressure. In fact, it's so crazy that I remember that one of the releases that Apple made to their watch was that if you are in a location where you would not, like maybe you got lost or something, they could help you contact emergency services or something like that. I can't remember now. You also have like Alexa and smart homes where you can, you voice control like your your house, like you say Alexa, like turn on the lights, Alexa, do this, do that. And sometimes even on your phone, you can tell your phone to play music for you. I remember that sometimes I used to have like a schedule on my phone where after my alarm rings, right, automatically my phone will start playing like the news for the day. After the news for today, it will play a series of songs I've already pre-selected, and after that, something like that. So I was doing that at some point, one time like that. So I'm just, trying to give like random examples of, how these things have shaped, largely just shaped like these things that we are using today on our day to day from as far back as 1989 until date. And we are still like, we keep, taking and making advantage of these things. POS machines as well used to facilitate transactions in businesses. There's also the concept of Internet of Things, actually, the way you are exchanging data between your card processor, the issuer, the acquirer, then down to the POS machine itself. What of the one that has to do the wireless payment, which you are just using your card to tap, the NFC concept as well. All of these concepts all stem down from the major technology, which is like IoT, right? And at the end of the day, from what it looked like here, right? It has evolved down to what we have now. And that does not mean that that's even the end of it. That's how interesting it gets. And it means that as a product manager or as someone working in tech ecosystem or someone looking to build out stuff, you need to keep understanding these things so that you can sort of like position your product well enough to be able to take advantage of these things. Sometimes I feel like one of the key um I say one of the key strengths of a product person is your imagination. The wider your imagination gets, the easier it is for you to be able to think in certain concepts. So if you are not very imaginative, you might struggle with being innovative. Wow, that just says something there. Sorry, don't mind me. If you're not very imaginative, you might struggle to be innovative. So yeah. So I think like as a product person, you need to try as much as possible to broaden your imagination, broaden your horizon around certain things. That would actually help you understand certain concepts better, and to also help you not just see things from certain perspectives, but see the possibilities in certain things. So now the second one is data exchange. In the past, I don't know how many people here use floppy disk, but you use like this floppy disk, put in your CPU because you want to transfer file. I remember then there was this road crash game that we had on our PC, on our personal computer at the time at the house. And I even used to, before we had our own PC then, I used to go to my family friend's house where we used to, play this game. He would install it with his he installed it with his floppy disk. Yeah, I think it's floppy disk, they call that thing now. They put it in the CPU, we installed it. After installing, they moved it.
Disket.
Diskette, yes, yes. Is it diskette?
Yeah, disket.
Yes, it's diskette. Yeah. So you put it in the machine, in the CPU, and then you can install the file, and then you can remove it, and then you can also like store files in it as well. And then if you go to like government agencies, or you go to computer centers, or you go to like offices, or the government offices or big offices, you see an area where there's a big place where there's always like this gets a lot of them just slapped, and then maybe at the top of it you see like the label of what it is for. Maybe the social file, you see it there. So if you need it, you pull it out, put it in your CPU to read whatever you want to read from it. And that was literally like how data exchange has evolved. And then gradually, people needed to exchange data, from CPU. We started moving on gradually to mobile devices. People needed to exchange data from their mobile devices. So I don't know how many people use the what's the name of this thing? It's not Bluetooth, but before Bluetooth, there was one thing we called I'm trying to remember the name. There was one thing we called.
Infrared.
Alright.
Thank you very much. I like this session. So there was infrared. I remember that time we put our phone together like this, as if they are kissing each other because infrared needs to work. And if your phone had infrared that time, you are a big boy, please. You are a big boy because you are standing out and then you are transferring your 3 MB song. If I got amazing your 1.2 MB song, and then you are trying to transfer the song to another person's phone because that song is what you want to make your ringtone. That song is what you want to make your ringtone, right? So I mean, and then look at what we have now. Now we don't just rely on this kind of thing again. I remember when I bought my phone, I needed to move all my data from my Infinix phone at the time to my Pixel, and all I needed to do was to put a USB drive here, another the other mouth of the cable on the Infinix. It just read it was connecting, and in like less than 15 minutes, it had moved everything that I had on the Infinix to my Pixel in less than 15 minutes. I didn't need to maybe do any form of copying all the files into somewhere, and then I will now need to connect this to the PC and then copy and paste everything. Like those things rarely happen anymore. And then down to how you can even sync your devices these days, where once you log into your Google here, log into your Google here, sync everything, and all your data will get here. One of the most notable experiences I've had of data exchange was when I was using a BlackBerry, I think Bold 2, in I think 2011 or thereabouts, and the phone got spoiled. I needed to change it, and then I lost the phone. Right, I actually had logged into my Gmail then, and if you use like Google, you will know that you can sync your contacts, you can sync this, sync that, sync this, just sync different things. And one of the most interesting things that I just learned then was after I synced all those things, I didn't know what I would just ensure that these things was always syncing. So I lost that phone, and then I had to like get a new phone from someone. So I mean, if I don't know how many people here experience that thing where if you misplace your phone like this, all your contacts gone, right? All your contacts gone. Even if you got your SIM back, you did like a SIM, I don't know what they call that thing now, but where you get your SIM back and then you put it back in your phone, but all your data, you now have to start collecting people's numbers again. I know a lot of people back then used to experience that thing. So me now, I just like got my SIM back up, I put it in my new phone, and when I started the phone up, automatically I just saw all my contacts. I was like, what? What just happened? I was like, this is mad though. Like, what just happened? Then I started like looking through it, and I now saw that apparently it was my Google Sync. It had been like because of the sync that I'd always been doing then, it just synced all my contacts again when I signed it to Google, and all my contacts were intact. So till date, if anybody should go through my phone, they'll most likely like 2,000 plus numbers or something like that. So I was like, maybe not down, but like 1,005-ish. So I was like, so this is like, and that was what saved me from losing all my contacts at the time. So I mean, these are like some of the examples of which some years back that would never be the case. Those numbers, OTLO in short form, like it's gone, right? But these days, there are different capacities of you having to exchange data, having to keep data, and that even cascades down to certain things like, the concept of marketing today, where your the more you do certain things. For instance, I went to a restaurant on Friday. By the time I was back, I logged into my Instagram and I opened my Instagram and I just saw an ad of that restaurant. I'm sorry, but I always tell people that I don't kill myself so much about my data anymore because I feel like these people already have access to it. They're just using it the way they want, right? So I really just bother myself anymore. I just feel like they're already in control because there are times where I could be talking to someone about something and then just the next minute and I pick up my phone, go to Instagram, I'm seeing an ad of that exact same thing, right? So I mean, I've given up on that thing, to be honest. So, but yeah, so that actually just narrows down to what I'm trying to explain when it comes to how the use of data and data exchange has evolved over the years, right? It's one of the concepts that I would like to say it's an emerging technology, right? The use of data, the exchange of data. It has gradually evolved over the years to what we know now. Data is being stored in the cloud now, and even some people still, in quotes, keep this data, their data centers like physically, but a lot of people now make use and utilize cloud storage. Or like previously, where you go to an office and then they have one dedicated space for where their CPUs and where all their data and their servers are located. And if you go into that place, always really really cold, and you see a lot of dots everywhere. Even if you're not supposed to have that kind of thing, right? But now those kind of places they start utilizing like cloud services, and all of those things. So those are just examples of how data, the usage and exchange of data gradually evolved over the years, and while I would still categorize it as one of the emerging technologies today. Third one is blockchain. We've talked a lot about it, or I won't say we've talked a lot, but I've mentioned it a couple of times. The definition I also put it here is a shared immutable ledger that facilitates the process of recording transactions and tracking assets in a business network. Blockchain enables secure and efficient payment transactions, including cross-border payments, remittances, exchange of value between parties. Now, it's very important that you note that it is there's a party I mentioned that it's exchange of value between parties. Now, it could mean exchange of money, it could mean exchange of this, exchange of that, just an exchange of value between parties, what both parties recognize as value. Blockchain technology also helps verify transactions and ownership of assets, ensuring transparency and trust. Examples include verification of cryptocurrency transactions, authentication of ownership for digital assets, including non-fungible tokens, alongside a couple of other things. The concept of blockchain has always been for a while, right? However, you notice that we still call it emerging technology today. Why? It's sort of like still cascades down to some of the characteristics that I listed here. In a sense, inherent innovation capacity. It allows us to introduce new solutions because why did bundle not come in like 30 years ago, or why did Binance, for instance, or Coinbase not come in like 20 years ago, even though like we've all actually known the concept of Bitcoin or some of these things like years back, right? But it just it just allows us to be able to understand that emerging technology does not mean that by the next 2 years we'll stop calling it emerging technologies. Maybe for some of these things, but for some things they will just keep being emerging until we are able to recognize that this is the potential of this thing. But for now, we don't particularly recognize the potential, and we'll get to where we'll see why these things are operating in this way. Some of the usage of blockchain is also in terms of cross-border payments, in terms of remittances, exchange of value, verification of assets. I've heard when people say, we want to verify this transaction, take this, the transaction, this, I don't know what they call that thing now, but the reference or something, take it, go to this site, go and verify it, you see the person that carried out the transaction, and as well, some people have, if you notice in 2020, was it 2021? I think it was 2021. A lot of things actually happened between 2020 till date, to be honest. I feel like that corona came with a lot of things, right? It came with that 2020 came with corona, and it came with a kind of like shift in a lot of things. I feel like maybe if coronavirus did not happen, a lot of things that happened between 2020 to date might not have particularly happened the way they happened. So yeah, but I mean, this is just another example of, in quotes now, emerging technology, because to be honest, till today, I feel like we've not particularly exhausted the use cases of blockchain. I also feel like till today, it is still not very, very understanding or understandable to a lot of people, to be honest. And I don't blame them. I feel like there's still a lot of education work that needs to happen with regards to how to adopt blockchain. And this is still one of the problems of emerging technologies. A lot of times people do not understand it. By people now, I'm not talking about tech savvy people. I'm talking about like the layman. Um, the layman might not particularly understand it. And what is technology? People do not understand it, right? So it needs to get to that bridge and cross that path. Go to the next one, which is virtual reality. It immerses users in a simulated environment, often through headset or Google's, creating a sense of presence and interaction. For people that have used any of these virtual reality games before, where you go to a game arcade, you play certain games, There's this movie, and I'm trying to remember this movie name, very popular movie that came out at some point, I think in 2022 or was it 2021 or 2020. This game about one virtual reality thing like that, where you go in, you wear your, like, people were living in a very poor world, and then once you just wear your virtual reality goggles like this, it takes you into another realm entirely where you are building your wealth, you're accumulating wealth, whereas in the real life you are poor as hell, right? So I mean, that's another, concept where you are, playing games. Yeah, there's also the concept of you, building that connection with other people from wherever they are as well. Not necessarily like seeing them like in physical presence, but you can sort of like feel them and know them and like hear their emotions through like this your virtual reality. And then there's also the concept of you being able to like tour different locations. Maybe you need to check a place, you need to inspect the property, you need to do certain things. You can do these things virtually, right? And it still gives you that experience like it is there. So once again, like other emerging technologies, I feel like virtual reality has not been fully, explored totally. And maybe it's because we are in Nigeria where a lot of these things we are not exposed to a lot of them, to be honest, and that's why we are a third world country. Unfortunately, there's still a lot that I think that VR can do for us that we might not be exposed to the entire use case yet, but gradually with time, I'm sure those things will gradually come to life. What are the possible realities that we've seen today? And VR technology can make tasks easier and more efficient by providing immersive training simulation and virtual collaboration environments. Imagine that you are a you are a driver, and then you need to, or maybe you are looking to go into a particular profession, and then there are some simulations that you need to do. If you are a particular person that watches a lot of futuristic movies, you see where you can actually handle like what type of simulations where you just wear your VR goggles, and then you're experiencing that kind of environment in that simulation at that moment point in time. They can easily test your ability or how you behave in the real practical world. DevOps team are also building games compatible with I won't say DevOps team, developers actually gradually building games that are also compatible with these VR glasses. For instance, I know that developers today are building games that are compatible with Oculus, for instance. Then virtual reality also enables virtual tours of, I already mentioned this, distant locations, allowing users to experience places they may never visit physically. Now, these things are things that as product people, once we have learn them, understand their concept, maybe we might be able to sort of like see the applicability to some of the things that we are doing, some of the problems that we are facing, or that we experience, or that we see people facing, that we can, sort of solve using some of these emerging technologies. The fifth one is AI. AI. That is the current era that we are in. If you notice, I try not to come from I won't say the oldest to the earliest. I try to put some sort of let's say sequence to these things. So I try to stay from so that we can stay with the most recent one, right? So AI, simulation of human intelligence processes by machines, particularly computer systems. Companies like OpenAI are industry leaders in AI, known for products like ChatGPT. I also have a particular friend working in a company in Croatia. She's not Nigerian as well, and they started building their AI platform. It's a platform as a service. They started building their AI platform, if I remember, 5 years ago or thereabouts, and they did not find product market. I won't say product market, but they did not find the right customers for their product. Even though they were in Europe, you can imagine, they did not find the target market for their product up until 3 years after they had built the first version, right? And that's how crazy it can be for emerging technology. Like, imagine you build something at that time, you go around like companies in your country that is not even like Africa, it is in Europe, and then you even get to like countries in like states in US, and you're still not able to get the kind of did I say feedback that you need or the kind of acceptance that you're expecting. But it now took like 3 years after for them to now accept it, and it was not even in some of the most popular states in the US. It was in another state entirely. I can't remember the state you mentioned now. That was where one company like accepted what they were doing, and then from there it just went up from there. Like a lot of people now wanted to like integrate to their platform to sort of build out whatever it is that they were building to leverage on their AI platform. So the possibilities of AI as well are endless. For people that have watched movies where I feel like a lot of the things that we're even seeing today, so you might have seen movies about it. So we are seeing the concepts of predictions and projections. We are seeing the era of people adopting customer support automation. People trying to improve the way people are interacting with other people through the use of AI. AI is also being used to sort of like detect fraudulent patterns, detect how you are behaving, some of the things that you are experiencing, with your mobile device when you're scrolling through social media and then you're seeing maybe your most seen content. You will notice that if you go to explore page, some of the things that you interact with the most is most likely what will be on your Instagram explore page. What do you think that is, right? And you can even retarget whatever it is that you're seeing. So you notice that maybe you just suddenly start searching for different things and visiting certain types of pages, right? You will notice that your feed will just gradually just change because you're training your feed to behave differently, or you're training your explore page to behave a little different in that than it would typically would. So these are like some of the examples of AI that happens on a daily basis that we even experience. Sometimes we do not even recognize it, unfortunately, right? It has also helped business teams to be able to make data-driven decisions. For instance, you're seeing how people are behaving or reacting towards your product, or how people are behaving or reacting towards your release, and then you want to just be able to understand, okay, how do we change certain things, how do we improve on what we've done, how do we take this feedback and sort of like, well, how do we notice this their behavior and improve on what we've done to target this particular place the most, right? There's also the use of AI. Then also, like I mentioned, advertising, personalized recommendation, and content delivery. The last one is the decision making process for optimizing marketing strategies. Now, let's talk about the challenges facing emerging technologies. Now, we've talked about these different emerging technologies that we typically will hear about today, or that we've used and that we use on a daily basis. So, what are the challenges typically facing emerging technologies? Well, first of all, the first thing is adoption. And like I mentioned at the beginning, depending on where you find yourself, you find out that these challenges might differ, right? Adoption today, I would say, is one constant thing with emerging technologies, and it will keep being a thing. So far, that thing is called emerging technology. People today, not everyone will adopt or has adopted blockchain, for instance, or cryptocurrency, for instance, or AI or VR, for instance, or even I mean those things I've mentioned today. That's why you hear that certain governments are banning certain things because of certain things. Some people do not, want to adopt it because they don't understand it, which brings down to the next point, which is technology understanding. Some people do not understand it, and for some people, if they don't understand it, they won't use it, right? So emerging technologies also have that challenge where, aside from the adoption rate being low, there's also the part of the people not understanding the technology. So you as a product person, you need to be able to bridge that gap if you are going to be adopting any of these technologies into your product. So you need to think about, okay, so my users, what demographics do they fall under? Do they fall under the demographic of people that would typically understand this technology? If yes, then it means that you probably want to, if they understand it, then you can invest in it. Try to, ensure that you don't go too far or too complex. And if you do, you are providing enough educational materials for them to understand it. And if you're falling in another category where your users do not particularly fall under the category of people that would understand this emerging technology, then automatically it means that you need to either retarget whatever it is that you are doing, focus on whatever it is that you are doing, or you want to re-optimize and then also invest in educating them about these technologies as well, so that you don't lose users, because really people lose users because of making certain decisions regarding their products, right? You would hear that users dropped off because of certain behavior with certain products, right? So these are the things that you also want to look out for. Potential for harmful use. For instance, people have found that you could use cryptocurrency to carry out certain types of transactions that are in quote maybe fraudulent, or funding certain things like terrorism. People have also fallen a trap of using AI to sort of like get people's data or so, different things like that. So there's actually a potential for of harmful use when it comes to emerging technologies as well. As much as it has its good part, it also has its harmful parts as well. I won't call it harmful part, I'll call it potential for harm. Then cost and investment requirements. Yes, it's actually cost intensive. It requires investment for you to be able to even make use of it, utilize it, understand it, teach people about it, right? It has its costs as well. So, and for a nation or for a people or for a company to harness its full potential, you need to be able to invest in these things, and they don't come cheap. And it's also research intensive. Obviously, what you do not understand, you need to spend time to understand it. So yes, emerging technologies are research intensive. You find yourself having to understand it, spend time to sort of like invest in understanding it, because that's the only time way you'll be able to build out numerous use cases for yourself. And that is why some companies spend a lot on R&D. That is why some countries also spend a lot on R&D, because unfortunately, in a country like Nigeria, where we do not do a lot of spending on R&D, that is why we are not able to harness potential of some of these emerging technologies as much as we can. The next thing is legal and ethical concerns. Everyone on this call, if you are familiar with checking the news whenever things come up with AI, with cryptocurrency, you would agree with me that there are a lot of issues that come up from a government standpoint, from a legal standpoint, from a data privacy standpoint, from a this standpoint. They just have different issues that come up about them, right? And that is because it is as a result of a lot of things I listed here, which is the understanding. A lot of times I find out that the government, when they don't understand something, they try to clamp down on it sometimes, right? And maybe that period they are clamping that they are trying to understand it, and then they come out to now release, regulations, or regulators now coming to say, okay, this is how this thing should be used. A lot of times with this emerging technology, sometimes they face certain things like legal and ethical concerns where you're unable to sort of like regulate it, and then you have to start facing a lot of legal fights, or what will I call it now, where you have cases springing up here and there, different regulators coming up with different things just to regulate that particular industry. So those are some of the challenges that emerging technologies will definitely face. Once you notice that, just know that, yeah, there's something about this particular technology that people are not maybe paying attention to. Then limited accessibility in less exposed areas also. I already mentioned this as part of the first thing I mentioned when I was talking, and I said that for certain areas in Nigeria, certain areas in Africa, you find out that um, people, as much as people do not understand it, it's not also accessible to a lot of people in less exposed areas as well. So one of the challenges too. Imagine you want to, kind of like build up the potentials of AI, or build up the potentials of blockchain. You see people that their daily spend, I think their daily spend, I can't remember Nigeria now, it's not even up to $5 a day, or how much is it in a day. That is the people that you want to tell how to, you want to bring the potential of AI or whatever into. It's a little bit difficult. So yes, I mean, those are some of the challenges facing emerging technologies today. Just hope that we are able to broaden our horizon as much as we can from wherever we are today, right? To keep researching, keep learning about it, so that we are able to adopt it, take advantage of it in our own little way as well, because we cannot depend on, because of the society this way or that way, now box ourselves in some sort of capacity where we are not able to grow, right? It will be dangerous to us at this level that we are in right now. So in summary, remain proactive in looking out for new changes, adapting new strategies, approaches accordingly to constantly stay ahead. You do not want to, be that person that is not able to understand certain things. You don't want to be that person that is left out. You don't want to be that person that is unable to think out of the box, because some of these new things that are coming up, you are not able to either understand it or fathom it, right? So stay proactive with looking out for new changes, stay proactive in listening to what is happening in the market, stay proactive to understand exactly what is going on, so that whenever something comes, someone says opportunity meets, what's that thing they said? Yeah, I can't remember what that thing is about, opportunity meeting something. So just, I think the opportunity meets, I can't remember now. Anybody
Preparation.
that, yeah, preparation meets opportunity, right?
Opportunity meets preparation.
Okay, opportunity meets preparation, exactly. So if you are not prepared and that opportunity comes, it will just definitely pass you by. So you need to, be prepared for it so that when the opportunity comes up, you're able to take advantage of it. And as product managers or as product people or people working in tech, one of the strengths you can have is proactiveness. Proactiveness in your work, proactiveness in being able to think not one step ahead, but sometimes even 4 steps ahead would definitely keep you ahead of the game actually a lot of times. So yes, that is my presentation for today. I think that a lot of people should try to watch this movie, Bitcoin. It's called Bitconned, so that you can also see some of the challenges facing emerging technologies. Some of those things, it's on Netflix, Bitconned. Some things I listed they actually happened, and in that movie we could definitely like see some of those things spring up. Yeah. So yeah, it's a documentary as well. It's not really like a movie, a docu movie or whatever they call it, based on real life stories. So yeah, thank you very much everyone. Hoping that we can get questions from people that are on the call.
Thank you so much for that wonderful session. We learned a lot. Yes. Okay, so it's time for questions. If you want to ask a question, you can just raise your hand. If you can't, if you're in a noisy area and you don't want to unmute your mic, you can type your question in the comment section. I'm sure there's a whole lot that you want to ask. Questions, comments. Thank you so much, Toyin. I want you to okay, Tayo has a question. Yes. Tayo.
Oh, mine is not even a question. I
Okay.
wanted to add a comment. And thank you so much for this, Tui. It's enlightening. It's enlightening for me also. I wanted to add, some spice of now not everybody will probably agree, but I think one fun way that I've learned to embrace emerging technologies in the last 2 or 3 years is via movies. And the kind of movie is why it may be funny. It's K dramas, right? So I started watching K dramas like 2 years ago, and maybe I started with sci-fi movies. And trust me, I've learned more about augmented reality in a particular K drama. In fact, before AI went mainstream, I think I first started seeing some, apart from American movies that we probably have seen before now. I started seeing some artificial intelligence, robotics kind of movie or concepts and terminologies. I started hearing them first in K dramas, right? Of course, I'm not taking out the place of American dramas that we've had way back, where we have fantastic, humanoid robots doing stuff. But the one that really struck out for me was augmented reality that played out in a K drama, Memories of Alhambra, and it's a K drama movie. Tells you about augmented reality in a gaming way, and that movie has been around since maybe 2019 thereabouts. So I just wanted to quickly add that if you are somebody who gets, you can't read books or read articles on emerging technologies, and you're a product manager, you're curious like this, I'm going to check out this documentary you shared with us. I'm going to check it also on Netflix. And if you're that person, I believe you could just, you can even ask ChatGPT to give you suggestions of emerging technologies movies on Netflix, Amazon Prime, also. You're going to, I believe it's another way to also see things in action. So yes, I just wanted to quickly have that. Thank you, Tui.
Welcome.
All right. Do we have any other question or comment? My own question is this. Now, as a product person, you mentioned that one of the characteristics of emerging technology is possible ambiguity. Now, as a product manager, how do you deal with that?
Possible what? I didn't get that.
Possible ambiguity.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, as a product manager, how do you like deal with that concerning your product?
So regarding that particular question, interesting question actually, I didn't see that from. So first of all, you can't treat what you don't know, right?
Mm,
That's one thing. You can't treat what you don't know. You can't deal with what you do not understand, right? So one of the best ways that you can handle this type of thing, and I think it depends on the context at which you are looking at it from, you need to solve that problem of understanding first, right? Once
mhm,
that understanding bit has been plugged, it is one step closer towards solving the problem. That is whatever it is that you're trying to solve now in this case. First of all, um, some of us already know, or people already know the extent to which you can use certain technology, right? And the capacity is different depending on how deep you are into that particular technology framework. For instance, today, I don't know so much about cryptocurrency or blockchain, but I know to some extent what you can do with it. If you have that conversation with someone else, another that person will tell you much more that you can do with it, right? And that's just showing like the different perspectives that would exist. Now, what that
yeah,
means automatically is that the capacity at which I can think of the problems it can solve for me is limited to my understanding of it. Now, for
mm,
this other person, the capacity of how this person would use to solve problems is going to be totally different as well, depending on the capacity of his understanding of it as well. So, I think that at the end of the day, investing in understanding these technologies will take you one step towards being able to utilize it. Now, after getting that understanding, the second step is, I think, your imagination, right? How do you want to apply it, right? If there are certain areas that you are looking at this thing being applicable to, how wide are you thinking about it? Not going beyond the scope of what is possible, but sometimes I tell people that with technology, anything is possible, right? That's the truth, anyways. But yeah, so I feel like those are like the two steps. The first one is your understanding of it, the second one will be your imagination.
all right. Thank you so much. Any other questions? Does anyone have any other questions?
And
Thank you so
Abiodun,
much.
sorry, I just wanted
Yes.
to add to what I said regarding the ambiguity thing. It will continue to be ambiguous, to be honest. So far, it's an emerging technology. It will continue to be ambiguous, and you cannot because of that, lean back. If you understand what I mean, you
Mm,
just need to take a step to understand what it is to the extent that you need to use it, right? And then, so if for instance, in the next 2 years, we are still saying that, oh, Bitcoin can actually do this, can do this, can do this, but there's more to it, right? Will you now not do anything about it between now and that next 2 years, if that makes sense? Same thing with AI, same thing
better
with
to
it.
be proactive.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, I'm also thinking well, our level of maybe it's a level rate at which we can adapt, ready to adapt to things will also play a role,
Yeah. And I
in that
think that
aspect.
society as well might have its role as well in all of these things because
Okay.
we find out that people in certain, we are not particularly as liberal as we think in Nigeria. So we might not adopt some things like in other areas. Right? And that I think sort of like has an
Yeah.
impact on how we do certain things here in this part of the world.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you. All right. If there are no questions, I can't see any hands. There are no comments. Okay, so I'd like to, yes. All right. So can you see my screen, please?
Not yet.
No, yeah, I
Not
think
yet.
Comment and discuss.
Okay. Yes. So this session is a taster session for our product school. So we are having a product analytics course coming up starting March 30th. So if you're a product person and you're ready to take your product analytics to a next level, product management skills to the next level, register for our product analytics course. We're going to be learning about user behavior. We're going to be using some tools like Mixpanel, Microsoft Clarity, Google Analytics, and some more of that. So The price is there. The duration is just 4 weekends. Just 4 weekends, Saturdays and on Sundays. This is for busy professionals. All right. So we also have our class, data analytics class coming up on April 6th. This time around, we're focusing on Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Power BI, and SQL. You're going to be learning freelance mastery, data analysis, data visualization, problem solving, database management, and a whole lot more. To register, you enroll at https://techlytics.ng/data analytics. All right, payments in installments are available for that. Thank you all so much for joining. The duration is 10 weekends, Saturdays and Sundays also. All right, thank you so much to doing. Thank you for
Well,
such a wonderful session. We hope that when we call again, you would oblige us. This was, in fact, an eye-opening session. Yes, there was a whole lot from old school to the new school. You made me remember the time of diskettes and all that.
right.
Fantastic.
Welcome.
And also how imagination and innovation relate. If you can't be imaginative, you can't be innovative. I forgot how you put it, but that's just paraphrasing it. Wonderful quotable quote. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for your attention. You can check us out at www.techlytics.ai or www.techlytics.africa. Until next time, thank you so much, Toyin,
All
for a
right. Thank you.
wonderful session.
All right. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Mhm.